Have you ever asked your teenager a simple question and suddenly the conversation turns into an argument? You ask where they are going, who they will be with, and what time they will come home. And before you know it, they are saying, "Why don't you trust me?" Most parents are shocked when this happens because in their minds, they are not controlling their child. They are protecting them. But here's the surprising truth. The more fear parents feel, the more controlled teenagers often feel. And when teenagers feel controlled, they stop opening up. In this video, I'm going to explain why this happens and how parents can protect their teenagers without damaging the relationship. Most parents don't wake up wanting to control their teenagers. They wake up wanting to protect them. We worry about the world our children are growing up in. Social media pressure, drugs and alcohol, the wrong friends, poor decisions that could change the directions of their lives. So, parents tighten the rules. They ask more questions. They monitor more closely. But here's the problem. What parents experience as protection, teenagers often experience as mistrust. And when teenagers feel mistrusted, something important in the relationship starts to close. Parents carry fears that teenagers often cannot see. Fears like, what if my child makes a mistake that ruins their future? What if I'm too lenient and they lose direction? What if they start listening to friends more than they listen to me? What if I lose influence completely? These fears are real. They come from love, but fear has a very subtle way of changing our behavior as parents. It makes us question every decision, monitor every movement, and correct every mistake immediately. Sometimes without realizing it, we move from guiding our teenagers to controlling them. And teenagers feel that shift immediately. Teenagers are in a very unique stage of life. They are no longer children, but they are not fully adults either. They are in the process of becoming. And during this stage, there is one powerful question running quietly in their minds. Do you believe in me? Not just do you love me, but do you believe that I can make decisions, learn from mistakes, and grow into a responsible adult? When every decision is monitored, when every action is corrected, when every mistake is met with anger or punishment, the message many teenagers hear is, I don't trust you yet. And when a teenager feels constantly mistrusted, one of two things usually happens. Some teenagers withdraw emotionally. They stop sharing things with their parents. They answer questions with one-word responses. They hide part of their lives. But other teenagers, they respond differently. They start pushing back harder. They argue more. They challenge rules. They demand independence before they are ready, and suddenly the house becomes a battleground. Let me give you an example many parents will recognize. A teenager asks to go out with friends. The parent immediately asks, who will be there? Where exactly are you going? Who is driving? What time will you come back? And are there boys there? Now, from a parent's perspective, these are reasonable questions. But the teenager's perspective, it sometimes feels like an interrogation. And the emotional message they hear is, you cannot be trusted. Let me share something I've observed in classrooms after teaching teenagers for many years. The students who grow the most are not always the students who are controlled the most. They are the students who feel three important things. They feel seen, they feel trusted, and they are held accountable without humiliation. For example, I once had a learner who was constantly forgetting homework. I could have punished him every single time. And sometimes as teachers we do that. But instead, I sat down with him and said, I know you are capable of more than this. What is getting in your way? And that conversation changed everything. Because when teenagers feel that an adult believes in their ability to grow, they often rise to that expectation. And the same principle applies at home. So, how do we shift from control to guidance? Number one, name the fear. Instead of saying, because I said so, try saying, I'm worried because I care about you. When teenagers understand the emotion behind the rule, they often become more cooperative. Because now the rule is not about power, it's about protection. Number two, invite responsibility. Instead of deciding everything for them, invite them into the decision. Ask questions like, how do you think we should handle this? What do you think a fair time to come home is? What would responsible behavior look like in this situation? You may still guide the outcome. But when teenagers participate in the decision, they start developing judgment. The third one is the most difficult for parents. Allow small mistakes. Because teenagers learn responsibility the same way adults do, through experience. If they never make mistakes while they are still under your guidance, they may make bigger mistakes when they finally leave home. Small failures at 16 can prevent bigger failures at 25. Your fear does not make you a bad parent. In fact, your fear usually comes from deep love and responsibility. But when fear is never spoken about, it can quietly turn into control. And control slowly damages trust. But when parents replace control with guidance, conversation, and trust, Teenagers don't feel managed. They feel mentored. And that changes everything. In the next video, we will talk about, it's directed at teenagers, and we will talk about what your parents' teenagers wish you understood. And this is coming from a teacher who has watched both sides. If these conversations matter to you, if they resonate with you, please like, subscribe, and share, and let's walk this journey together.